Thank you, Mark, and good evening from a crisp, cool Manchester for this final group phase match for both Manchester City and Galatasaray, and there is much to play for both. With Arsenal and Bayern Munich the only confirmed teams into the last 16, there are so many permutations on this final match day. We will try to keep you updated on it all, but for Manchester City, a win should ensure they finish in the top 8 and skip the playoff round where they dropped out of the competition last season. But following that defeat to Bodo Glimt a week ago, it is not entirely in their own hands. For Galatasaray, they know a win would take them into the seeded section of the playoff draw, which would mean their second leg would be in their hostile home environment. A draw may also be enough, but defeat and they could drop out altogether. Michael Brown is alongside me. Michael, you will be, I'm sure, across all of it, but ultimately there's plenty on the line for both of these teams tonight, which makes it very exciting.
Yeah, it's a wonderful evening of football ahead. Massive night. Listen to all the differences that can happen, not just in this game, but all around that league table, which makes it a special evening of Champions League football. We wondered what type of things when we changed the draw, changed what it'd be like in this format. Would we get these exciting moments? And we've got it this occasion. Last season we were all going, what will be next? A Manchester City perspective, we'll recover, we'll be able to challenge later on and then go into the top 8. They then drew Real Madrid and then the rest took over from there. So now they've got to make sure the job's not run away from them. Some couple of disappointing results when they looked really like they were going to be right at the top, but against the Galatasaray side who've got some exciting talent, quick paced. It's a special game of football. I'm really looking forward to this one. This
should be a cracking game of football, and I have to say the Galatasaray fans have travelled in huge numbers tonight. They've been all over Manchester. They marched to the stadium earlier on. I got stuck behind it on my tram here, Michael, but they are noisy, they are colourful, they're going to create a really special atmosphere, and it's going to be an interesting night to see if Manchester City can deal with the quick transitions that Galatasaray bring.
I was wondering why you were a bit late. I was expecting you to be here, but there is an exceptional large amount of away following, and it's not just in that away end behind the goal, across the 3 tiers, all around the home end they've managed to sneak in, and we noticed that at the start when Galatasaray got here for that warm-up. So listen, Champions League nights can be very busy here, but it's a great full house, great as well entrance when you come out with that special Champions League emblems in the middle, and then special under the lights. And I feel this is the game, isn't it? This is the one that gets you into that last realm, and City have to focus very quickly. It's a difficult game.
Well, the teams have just made their way out of the tunnel. All the Turkish journalists who are sitting in front of us have got their phones out, marking this moment as the Galatasaray team lines up alongside the Manchester City team. These two sides meeting in European competition for the first time, and the light blue flags are being waved around the stadium from the home supporters as the Champions League ball in the centre of the pitch is waved around, that big parachute type thing that they shake around as the anthem gets played around the stadium. But it is a really interesting one, this, and as we look down at that Galatasaray team, Michael, there is one player that stands out, and it is the return of their Champions League winning captain İlkay Gündoğan back at Manchester City in the opposition side.
It was one of those, wasn't it? It was a pep on the pitch. I think that's what everybody used to say. It was his first signing, and people were wondering what type of player. It took him a while to settle in, and then because he didn't do too many things that were outrageous, he was just that link, this sort of clever understanding of where to go, how to bring the best out of his side. And then all of a sudden, those title winning moments, those late goals, those runs, that FA Cup moment, he had so many. A wonderful real person first, and then player, and that's what I say, very close to the manager, and he's certainly brought that to the pitch. It's great to see him back here, and there's many others as well that would know that English Premier League. Leroy Sané, to name another former Manchester City player. So both of them do start for Galatasaray. Let me run you through the teams as the two teams in front of us get their photos taken and go through the pre-match build up for this Champions League final group stage match. So for Manchester City, 4 changes from the team that started against Wolves here on Saturday. Haaland, Ake, Aït-Nouri and Doku all coming into the starting lineup.
No Mark Guéhi or Antoine Semenyo, they are both still ineligible until the knockout stages of this competition. Rodri is suspended after his red card in the Arctic Circle, and Tijani Reinders drops to the bench. So it is Donnarumma as ever in goal, a back four of Ait Nouri, Ake, Kusanov and Nunez. Midfield, Nico O'Reilly moving from left back in there to partner Bernardo Silva. Jeremy Doku, Omar Marmoush and Ryan Cherki will be in support of Erling Haaland. For Galatasaray this evening, one change from their last Champions League team that drew with Atletico Madrid. So Jacobs, an AFCON winner with Senegal, he comes into the starting lineup. El Mali, a straight swap, dropping onto the bench. So they start with Chakir in goal, Ismail Jacobs at left back, Bardakci and former Spurs defender Davinson Sanchez, the centre-back partnership with Salah at right back. Ilkay Gundogan and former Wolves midfielder Mario Lemina make up the midfield too. Gabriel Sara in front of them, Leroy Sané and Barış Alper Yilmaz either side of Victor Osimhen up front. So the two teams take their places on the field of play. Galatasaray will get us underway in their orange and maroon looking shirts, playing from our right to left. Manchester City in their light blue white shorts and light blue socks, playing from left to right. A huge roar from the Galatasaray supporters as they get us underway, and it's going to be a really interesting contrast of styles, this one tonight, Michael. Manchester City will look to dictate, dominate and control the tempo. Galatasaray will want to hit quickly on the break.
Yeah, what they've done as well, they've put numbers forward, haven't they? Galatasaray straight away putting City under pressure, going long from that kick-off, and now looking to press as Bernardo just comes through, tries to find an angle, but he's got so many around him. Wonderful feet, and somebody he knows very well, getting tight so early. A little smile between the two. Fantastic to see from the captain. Brilliant.
The first clash of the evening between Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan. We may see a few of them. Two players who will both go down as absolute greats of this Pep Guardiola era at Manchester City.
Do you know what I would say about that as well is I don't think just with Manchester City, with these two players who don't really cause problems, don't really upset, appreciated by many, would you agree or not? Do you know, those players right around, I think, the football here and around Europe, of having that respect of being top professionals. Yeah,
maybe don't always get the headlines, maybe don't always score the goals, but vital, absolutely vital. Bernardo Silva has been this season and has been for many seasons, but he's played in every single Premier League game, and that just shows his importance to Pep Guardiola this season. There is a mist and a fog that's settled around the stadium here as Galatasaray try to get it forward quickly through Jacobs, but he's lost the ball on the right hand side and it's played through looking for Haaland, who's managed to pick up a loose ball right on the edge of the box, but now the offside flag goes up. And is this a big night for Erling Haaland? There's been a lot said about him of late.
Yes, I would say so. Do you know what? He's been incredible since he come to the football club. His record, what he's produced, and then the manager now, he's come out publicly, hasn't he? He said he needs to clear his mind in the weekend's game, and then he's asked again about whether it's the tactics, whether it's the team, whether the player, and the manager said it's actually the player on this occasion where he feels needs to do a little bit more, a little bit better, whether it's standards, whether it's a little bit of frustration just creeps in at times and just needs to have a reset, and hopefully that's what he's done.
A loose ball from Nunez picked up by Jacobs. He gets the cross in, but there is nobody waiting in the penalty area, and Donnarumma able to pick it up and roll it into the path of Nico O'Reilly, who now scampers upfield and plays it wide onto that left hand side for Ait Nouri with the bright orange boots. Great cross for Haaland. Oh, the header was good, but it's just gone wide of that far post. Brilliant ball from Ait Nouri from the left hand side. Haaland was all on his own. His head is in his hands. He knows how big a chance that was.
Oh, he was looking for a moment that maybe clear his head, and that would have been the one. When he's under pressure, under criticism, he just scores, doesn't he? Ait Nouri is the one who gets the nod. We've been waiting to see what he can do in a Manchester City shirt. Wonderful delivery, back of the 6-yard box, and there's Haaland, who's driving forward. It's the one back across, heads it wide.
And now Galatasaray come forward, but it's well dealt with by Manchester City. We have a goal in the Champions League. It has gone to the group phase leaders, Arsenal. They lead through Victor Gyökeres. So Arsenal lead against Kairat by a 0-0. Also, Atletico Bilbao are 1-0 up against Sporting. And Sanset with the goal there. So already we're beginning to see the goals come in on this final group phase. Galatasaray with a free kick over on the right hand side on that touchline, but level with the penalty area. So numbers coming forward to try and get the goal that they desperately need to try and settle the early stages of this tie. In it goes, and it's headed clear by Aït-Nouri, but only in behind Donnarumma's goal. So it will be now a corner to Galatasaray, which Gabriel Sara will go over to that far side to take. Galatasaray keeping the pressure on inside the opening 4.5 minutes. The best chance though has fallen to Manchester City, but Galatasaray, what can they offer from this corner? It goes deep, it's won by O'Reilly, and now an opportunity for Cherki to try and start something on the break. He does try to find Marmoush, but Shakir out of his goal quickly to launch it clear. And it's end to end already, Michael. It's going to be a very interesting evening, and Galatasaray are not going to want to let Manchester City settle into the tempo that they enjoy to play.
Yeah, just look at it now. We were wondering if Marmoush is going to be the other side of Haaland, but he's just trying to stretch on the shoulder. That run behind with Marmoush. It's almost an interesting setup, isn't it? Ryan Cherki going narrow. He's joining that midfield area. Bernardo, Nico O'Reilly, and then we've seen it a weekend a little bit. The two just occupied that back line of Wolves. Semenyo was one of those who was inedible, but diagonal ball there, just going out from Núñez. He's had a relatively okay start to the game.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva just looking for Núñez, who was in space. He found him perfectly in the build-up to that opening goal against Wolves on Saturday, but not to be that time. Out it went. So Galatasaray in possession. They've now moved the ball onto the right-hand side, and they're having to contend with a number of light blue shirts around them, and now is it Marmoush goes down on that far side and wins the free kick midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line. And it's something that Manchester City fans have been talking about, wanting to see Marmoush and Haaland playing together, whether it's a partnership, whether Marmoush is slightly off Haaland. They'll get to see it tonight in a really important game. It's
what's his position? Do you know, look, is it the wider ones of a three? Can it be a natural number 9? You feel like it's just somebody in and around it, a second striker who could do a little bit different things, not necessarily the wide one or drop too deep. But what he does, he has energy, he can get in behind, he causes problems. We've seen a lovely finish at the weekend. He just got across the defender, poked it home, but City now finally with a bit of control, a bit of momentum. Galatasaray looking to press.
Well, it's been a really big goal in Barcelona. Copenhagen have taken the lead, Daddison with it. So Barcelona 0, Copenhagen 1, and that moves Copenhagen into the playoff places. They are now 20th as things stand. Club Brugge also getting into that top 24. They've gone ahead as well against Marseille, so we can't take our eyes off the game, we can't take our eyes off the table, we can't take our eyes off the goals that are going in, because Kairat have equalised against Arsenal. But Haaland just plays the ball into the path of Cherki on the D of the penalty area. Doku now trying to weave it through into the path of Haaland, but it's cleared by Sanchez. Ake though will get there ahead of Osimhen, try and keep the pressure on. Manchester City with the ball in Galatasaray's half. So Arsenal 1, Kairat 1. That is a latest scoreline from the Emirates. Here at the Etihad, it is still Manchester City 0, Galatasaray 0. So nothing has changed here as yet in terms of the scoreline. Plenty going on elsewhere. Manchester City currently now in 9th position in the table. Top 8 is where they want to finish the day, but as things stand, they will be missing out on that. Lots to happen across the evening as Manchester City take a throw in, level with the edge of Galatasaray's penalty area, but Galatasaray win possession back. Osimhen now trying to fend off Kusanov. Kusanov does well, puts enough pressure on, and Osimhen loses out. Doku now is fouled, right in the centre of the area.
Good ball forward, wasn't it? Davinson Sanchez just jumped on top of it. Doku just wasn't aware of him, tries to turn away from trouble, but he's so quick, uses his body. The foul comes into a central area, but it's now City's turn. Just trying to find a way. I really feel like it's important that they play quickly though.
Well, in the big game in Paris, PSG have taken the lead against a much changed Newcastle team. So PSG 1, Newcastle 0. That is Vitinha who has scored that. They also missed a penalty early on. So that means that Manchester City, without having to score a goal themselves, have gone into the top 8. This is how much things will change across the evening. So PSG with the lead against Newcastle. If you want to listen to the commentary from Paris, that is available for you on Radio 5 Live. But here on Sports Extra, it is Manchester City against Galatasaray, still goalless inside the opening 10 minutes. Galatasaray now coming forward through Jakobs. He drops it back to Lemina, the former Wolves midfielder. His ball through to Osimhen though. The striker had moved offside, so it will be a free kick to Manchester City. What a wonderful season once again Victor Osimhen is having in the Champions League. 6 goals so far, which is pretty good. And Haaland is through. He's got the wrong side of the defender, and he's put Manchester City ahead. A ball straight through the middle of Galatasaray, and Erling Haaland got beyond Bardacci, and Bardacci could not catch him, and it was a beautiful death-dinking finish over Shaqiri. And Erling Haaland is engulfed by his teammates. They know how important that is to the big man up front, and these Manchester City supporters are celebrating. It is Manchester City 1, Galatasaray 0.
Well, there you go. He had his opportunity, but he get a second one. He just runs off the shoulder so well. It's a wonderful sliding pass. And I said Doku was going inside, and that was the point. How do you mark it? But as the goalkeeper comes out after that reverse pass, he's better than anybody, Erling Haaland, in that position. He waits, has a look, looks to the ground, has time to check, and then just a little dink. We've seen it lots of times. Off he goes into the corner. The big man's back.
He is back, and I was just talking about Victor Osimhen's fantastic goal return in the Champions League this season. Well, that is Erling Haaland's 7th in the Champions League this season, and it means that he is still on target, at the very least, for a goal a game in his Champions League career. 56th Champions League appearance tonight. Goal number 56 for the Norwegian. It's put Manchester City ahead. They were already inside the top 8, but that is going to move them up to 6th in the table, above Tottenham and above Chelsea, level on points with Liverpool as things stand. It's looking good for Manchester City right now, Michael.
Do you know what? He's doubted, isn't he? All the time. People just come by. He's not scored for a while, and then he missed that header, and you're going, oh, is it going to be one of those nights? But it's all about those passes, finding the area, finding something different. That's a great setup, because we were talking, weren't we, about Jeremy Doku, where he'd be. We expect him wide all the time. They've shoved him inside, and just where do you see it? Because how do you bring the full back in? They haven't dealt with it. He turns around, great ball in behind, great finish. Long throw from Galatasaray into the area. Doku with a acrobatic clearance that goes as far as Salah. Just inside Manchester City's half. Galatasaray will try to come again. And Jeremy Doku with the assist for that Haaland goal. It was a beautiful ball, just straight through the middle of Galatasaray. And I'm wondering, Michael, how many times tonight I will say "as it stands." I don't know if you've got a tally on me. I think there might be quite a few of them.
Oh, we'll start the count then, won't we? So, I think someone will do that for us if we're lucky enough, so they can tell us at the end. We should be concentrating, we should be asking that. But we'll monitor it. I'll try and tick it off just to see. And as it stands, we're Manchester City in the league.
As it stands, Manchester City in the lead indeed. But elsewhere, Atletico Bilbao's lead did not last long. Sporting have equalised against them. That moves them to 9th in the table. And Bayer Leverkusen have also gone ahead against Villarreal as Manchester City come forward. Marmoush just cuts back right on the edge of the penalty area, drops it to Ait Nouri, who has bodies to aim for in the penalty area, but instead feeds it to Doku, and Doku gets it back from O'Reilly, turns crisply. He's got Galatasaray shirts in front of them. He was looking for a free kick, but it hasn't been given. It will be a goal kick to Çakır, and Doku with his arms outstretched asking the question of the referee, which tonight is Alejandro Hernandez from Spain. He wasn't giving Doku anything there. He spoke quite a little bit in his press conference, Doku, about some of the treatment he's had recently, in particular the tackle from Dalot that meant he couldn't play any part in the Arctic Circle last week in that defeat to Bodø/Glimt. But he's a tricky customer, is Jeremy Doku.
I think it was a good one for him to miss. If you're looking at it and how it went, you probably thought, oh, that's all right. But yeah, do you know what? Because he shifts it so quick, and it's not always meant by players. Take it as a compliment. Top players who do special things with real pace and endeavour, and move the ball late as well. Shifts that body, and at that point you will be caught. But he's much more consistent now.
Striding forward is Cherki, right through the middle, drops it to the left-hand side to Ait Nouri, back to Cherki, trying to show some fast footwork to get past the Galatasaray defence, who are back in numbers. Doku now, with Ait Nouri again to his left, and they're in a strong defensive shape, Galatasaray. They're quite happy to sit in that and ask Manchester City to try and break them down. It is when they come forward that perhaps they are more vulnerable, as Jeremy Doku showed with that beautiful ball through to Erling Haaland to open the scoring here, as Bernardo Silva spins on the ball. He's got the run of Nunez ahead of him, and Nunez will just keep that in, gets it across, but it's well cleared at the front post by Bardacci. And now Galatasaray with an opportunity to get some possession. Jakobs, and to Barış Alper, the winger. Barış Alper Yilmaz, who won the penalty against Liverpool in Galatasaray's win earlier on in this Champions League group phase. But I've been reliably informed by our Turkish colleagues in front of us that he is known as Barış Alper and not Yilmaz, so I'm going to go with their knowledge on that one.
They should have an idea, shouldn't they? But I tell you what, he won't want to do. Keep running and joining that defensive line. He's almost into a back five. He'll want to push up the pitch, get into forward areas, but what he realises, the fluidity of Man City, just stretch him, put him to different positions. Donnarumma there, just setting the attack. Ake in the right-sided centre-back position, tries to keep it simple, but they're out.
They are out, and Nunez has got clear grass in front of him. He's driving forward, and Cherki's making a run, but he cuts it inside to Doku, who's looking to get the pass away. He was bundled over, but referee says no problem with that, as Sane takes the ball off him and moves forward. So Galatasaray now on the attack with Sara on the right hand side. It's got support, and now it's in with Sane, back to Sara. Doku gets a foot in, but Galatasaray keep possession. They've slowed the pace down on there as they look to try and get in behind this Manchester City defence. Switch of play over to Jakobs on this left hand side. Osimhen with his arms raised, desperate for the ball to be put in towards him inside the penalty area, but it's again Galatasaray recycle. And now they look to build with Lamina. And Osimhen, he's looking a little frustrated tonight, the striker. He's been a little isolated at times, and when he's made runs, hasn't really been found quickly enough. But
they're trying, aren't they, to go off the shoulder at the back.
Now Osimhen is in a little bit of space, but it is cut out by Kusanov. He's looking for the offside flag. It doesn't go up.
I think it should have, do you?
Because I thought he was ahead.
Yeah, even though he doesn't get it, what does Kusanov do? I think he has to go up to help him.
Cherki just a little bit hemmed in, but wins the throw-in, and now raises his arms, trying to get this Manchester City crowd to give a little bit of atmosphere. There are a lot of empty seats inside the Etihad this evening, and it's not perhaps as noisy as I've heard it.
It will be, don't worry. They're just building up, it's all good. There you go, right on cue. When it gets going, it'll be there. This will be a big night. City can do it in a good position, but the danger comes. Leroy Sané just waiting to inject a bit of life, a bit of pace. They are trying to stretch on the shoulder a little bit too much.
A couple of goals have come in for English sides in the Champions League. Arsenal are back ahead against Kairat. Kai Havertz with their second of the evening as the cross comes in. It just about falls to Oshiman, and a really important toe from Kusanov to take it away from the Nigerian, who's now got in a little bit of a battle with Ake at the back post, but Manchester City able to clear it before it reaches him again. But Lamina picks it up, complete fresh air volley from Lamina. It falls to Gundogan, but Doku is able to race clear, and race clear he does. Was that a tug from Lamina? It was, and it is a yellow card for the former Wolves man who pulled Doku down just as he was attempting to cross the halfway line, and Manchester City will get the free kick.
It was a bad few moments, wasn't it, for Lamina? He just follows Doku. He's just going to look, a little look now. Is there much in it? I don't think there is, Jeremy Doku's travelling such pace and tempo. Any sort of touch, I feel he should possibly get the benefit, but the fresh air shot just before that almost go, do you know what? After that, you get a yellow card just for missing the ball.
Slight frustration, perhaps, from Lamina after that fresh air volley. Right, other goals that have gone in. Liverpool have taken the lead against Qarabag. Alexis McAllister has put them 1-0 up. And Chelsea have also gone ahead away to Napoli. A really interesting tie. That one, Enzo Fernandez with a penalty. So Liverpool are up to third in the table, above PSG. Chelsea are up to sixth. Manchester City 7th. And that moves Tottenham out of the top 8. 20 minutes gone here at the Etihad. Manchester City leading by a 1-0. Erling Haaland with a beautiful trademark finish, and Manchester City look to come forward again. Cherki cuts back to Silva, and Galatasaray are very much in a 5-4 at the moment, but there is space for Nunez on this right hand side, and he's been found. He's got Cherki just inside him, and Cherki goes for the return. Nunez didn't quite read it, hadn't got on his bike, and it will be a goal kick to Galatasaray. Are you across everything that's happening, Michael?
I'm all over it. Just keep looking now, seeing about the penalty for Chelsea. It's a tough night there, isn't it? Newcastle with all those changes. I was there at the weekend. It just didn't really get going, did they, against the Villa side who caught them out. They are under a lot of injuries, we know. But there have been some big nights so far since the Champions League football have gone back to them.
Have indeed. Just seen some images of Mark Gahey and Antoine Semenyo watching on in the stadium, not eligible for the knockout stages, but both in very early days of their Manchester City careers. They've certainly made an impact since their arrival. Semenyo getting in on the goals and assists, and that will be a free kick for Manchester City, midway between the halfway line and the edge of the penalty area. On that left hand side, Marmoush just clipped as he went to turn away from Sanchez. I think a little bit more than clipped, actually.
Yeah, it's 2 now for Sanchez, isn't
heavy.
it? He's going to go tight. He's going to try and make sure he affects the game. For the easy ones, the daft ones, just taking the pressure off City. They just wait, circulate. Aït-Nouri's looking to get crosses in. You see the difference in his play.
Yeah, he feinted that one and then went and tried to create the space, but got caught. Galatasaray, though, giving the ball away. Easy for Kusanov on the halfway line just to pick up the loose pass. You could hear the groans from the away supporters as that loose ball was fed through, and Doku.
It was Gundogan, wasn't it, as well? That was the problem. It was Ilkay Gundogan into Osimhen, and it was like, oh no, you were thinking I need a simple one next.
Aït-Nouri again picks it up on the left hand side with space into Cherki. First time drops it back to Doku. There is space for Nunez on this right hand side, but Silva plays the middleman, now gets it out to Nunez, gets a little ricochet that fortunately falls at his feet again, and the cross goes in deep, looking for Haaland at that back post. Too long though, but it will fall for Aït-Nouri. And now Doku, left side of the pitch, just driving towards the penalty area, makes a space for the shot. Slight deflection, I think it may well be a Manchester City corner. Yes, it is. Wasn't worrying the goalkeeper, but that deflection took it away from him and out for a Manchester City corner.
So Nunez back in the team at weekend against Wolves. He pushed it into space, great ball in. He tried a little nutmeg and then he come back and he thought, I'll try this again, because when I cross the ball something happens. It was a big long hopeful ball, and then as he gets to Doku, gets his shot central 25 yards out as it's blocked, diverted, and now Bernardo Silva, all about the quality on top of the goalkeeper.
Well, Florian Wirtz has made it 2-0 to Liverpool as this corner comes in and it's headed at the front post away by Gundogan, but it will be picked up by Nunez. Not a single Galatasaray player up the pitch. It's now Silva against Gundogan. Both players with the bright yellow captain's armbands. And now the opportunity to shoot for O'Reilly, and that was pushed over the top of the bar by Shakir. Great shot from Nico O'Reilly. It just opened up in front of him and he absolutely let fly. Easy enough for the goalkeeper, but a great effort from the youngster.
Yeah, but when you get a look at it as well, it's travelling. He gets that arm out, that strike, really central as the ball's moving. Good save, but we haven't really seen Nico O'Reilly much centrally as a Manchester City player.
The corner comes in, headed clear by Osimhen. Again, it will fall to City feet, and Nunez, he's sliced that one a little bit, but Silva manages to get on the end of it and just absolutely hoists it up into the air. It's bobbling around. It is Galatasaray who finally get control of the ball. Gundogan coming forward, trying to play it in behind to Barış Alper. What a wonderful challenge that was from Nunez to deny the winger. Timed it absolutely to perfection, but Barış Yilmaz gets back on the ball. Gundogan now through to Sarah. Sarah cuts it back looking for Sané, but Doku's there ahead of him, and now Doku is showing great pace and great feet to skip past a few challenges and calmly play it back to Nunez. Brilliant defending from Nunez.
I don't know who's the worst slice, but Bernardo Silva's tried to put it into the thing. You were kind on him there. He literally sliced it up into the sky and back towards his own goal. I've never seen anything like that. We were telling everybody how good a footballer he was, and then he done that. He is special, but not on this occasion. Doku bursting forward there. He has a look, thinking I'm getting away down the right hand side. He had a look. Leroy Sané, I think I best step back and come and be safe.
Yeah, he's definitely matching him for pace. Sané. Davinson Sanchez trying to play out from the back for Galatasaray. Finds his captain Gundogan in the centre of the pitch, just trying to cross the halfway line, which he does with a pass to Sané. The two of them, of course, teammates here at Manchester City, now teammates at Galatasaray, international teammates as well. Now the ball from the right hand side. Osimhen gets beyond Kusanov. He gets a shot away and it stung the palms of Donnarumma, but he's managed to just grab it on the second attempt, and Osimhen just got clear there. I did wonder if the flag would go up, but it didn't. Timed his run that time as Doku again goes down, again raises his arms out wide, and again the referee Hernandez says nothing given. So Galatasaray moving forward through Gundogan. Sanchez gets it back inside the centre circle, moves it over to the left hand side to Bardacci, who scoops it over the top looking for the run of Jakobs, but his touch is poor. He's offside anyway.
He's gone everywhere, hasn't he? Jakobs just with the challenge with Doku, come all the way back over, and then someone sent him down the channel. But Osimhen had half a chance, didn't he? Off the shoulder, just in behind Ake and Kusanov. It was tight, it might have been offside, but we got it, ran on. Near post touch, corner of the 6 yard, hits it, near post, and right by his feet on the front post. Donnarumma just collects quite comfortably, but slight scare as Pep just comes all the way down, asking questions of Kusanov in a very aggressive way.
Yeah, he asks a lot of his players. He has spoken very highly of Kusanov, though perhaps not so much in the heat of the moment, but he's added something different to the back line. He's very good with the ball in behind Kusanov. He's got pace, and he's been given a good run of games. Well, I'll ask you that question in a second, because Galatasaray win it. Sané trying to feed it through. It almost falls to Osimhen and to Sarah, who were both there. Evaded both of them and goes out harmlessly for a Manchester City goal kick, but that was a dangerous position for Leroy Sané to have space.
Yeah, Ryan Cherki, brilliant under pressure, but what he does, he tries to buy the free kick. He tries to manipulate the officials to giving it. They said, not for me. Pep's going crazy at him. And that's one thing, love him. At times, he will do things that frustrate you for all the special things. And they almost get through that Sané pass into Osimhen just running away.
Manchester City with the ball inside their own penalty area, trying to play out. They are under pressure. Galatasaray moving forward, trying to press them into an error, but Bernardo Silva very rarely does that, and he finds Ake, who now has space. But we were talking about Kusanov, and he's had this run of games now through necessity, really, with the injury problems that Manchester City have at the back. But are you seeing him becoming more and more comfortable in the Manchester City shirt?
Well, he's aggressive, he can shift as well. He's learning how to take the ball positionally as well. He's got different partners. He's had Max Alain, now he's got Ake.
Doku into the penalty area, drops it back. Cherki touch and finish! And Manchester City double their lead. And all around the Etihad, those in blue and white are on their feet. It was beautifully worked and it was beautifully finished by Ryan Cherki. And it is Manchester City 2, Galatasaray 0.
Don't shout at him, Pep. This is what he might do. Be careful, like I said. He does things that can annoy you, that can cause problems, but what he can also do, get into good areas. His feet are incredible. Jeremy Doku sees him, edge of the area. Really good pass, tight areas. Reverse pass, just left of the penalty spot. Goes to go to the far post. Just chops it late into the near. A brilliant finish, real class player. Makes it look easy.
Beautifully finished. And again, it is Jeremy Doku who is the provider. But that is all about the touch and finish of Ryan Cherki. Such a gifted footballer. And it was the perfect first touch to just set it up. And he absolutely just stroked it into that bottom corner. But Jeremy Doku as well, 2 assists this evening as Manchester City lead by 2-0, showing his importance as well to this City side. And it is cruise control now for Pep Guardiola's side. Doesn't move them anywhere in the table, they're still 7th, but it's getting more and more comfortable with that goal difference, which will possibly come into play for some teams at some point this evening, just to confuse us even further.
Yeah, of course it will. We expect it because your phrase is going to come out as it stands. So
I'm trying to not use
look at Ryan Cherki on the ball, tight little areas. He's flying now, head up, brilliant play. Just keeps going now. Give me the ball. Here it is again. He's just wanting it every moment. He said, "Pep, please don't shout at me. Just don't worry. I'll come good in a second."
30 minutes played here, the first half hour gone, and it is all going the way of Manchester City as Doku looks to try and create once again. He's dropped it back to Silva, picks it up in the midway between the halfway line and the edge of the penalty area. Manchester City just stringing some passes together now. Ake has got Aït-Nouri on the left hand side. Doku looks to make the run but checks back, now gets it from Aït-Nouri. And Nico Riley tries to spin under pressure, but it's nicked off his toes, and Doku is there to stop Galatasaray breaking. He's had a fantastic first half an hour, Jeremy Doku. As frustrated as he's been not to get a number of free kicks, 2 assists, and he's been doing some pressing work defensive side of the game as well, Michael Brown.
He has, hasn't he? He's got back to the edge of the area, defensive line's really good. But I really like the position, how they've got him on the ball today. Rather predictable one, 1v1 on the wide left is something we know. We'll just say, right, give him that. He's drove through the middle, and I really like the pass that he made the first goal. He didn't really associate him with that.
Long ball, looking for the run of Barish Alper, but Kusanov does just enough to allow Manchester City to win back possession. Again, Cherki is dancing around inside his own final third, and I'm not sure Pep's warning has been taken much notice of by Cherki. He holds on to the ball that time though, but Doku does give it away, and now Pep Guardiola goes a little bit angrily towards Cherki.
I don't know if he's shouting at the group, but obviously going, let's all be a bit quicker. In other words, Ryan Cherki, but he's just scored, hasn't he? So he has to leave him alone for a bit.
He is an interesting player for a Pep Guardiola side, because we know how much Guardiola likes the control of players, and Cherki seems to be one of those players that he likes to be instinctive, but as Galatasaray come forward, it's cut out, but they still have options down this right hand side, and Donnarumma clutches the cross, pulls it out of the air before Osimhen can get a header on it. But yeah, he's a player that likes to play on instinct, Ryan Cherki.
Yeah, of course he is. He's got all the ability, do things nobody else can in areas, little nutmegs, reverse passes, incredibly strong when people are around him. Lucky there, Mamouche lost the ball down that right hand side for Galatasaray, tried to cross the ball in. You see Donnarumma in around it. There's another close proximity, Sanchez going tight on him.
Galatasaray pick up the ball in their own half. They've got a little bit of time to try and build from the back as they come forward. Real Madrid have also taken the lead against Benfica. Kylian Mbappe on the half hour mark. So Real Madrid lead as well. That puts them above Liverpool. They were already above Liverpool. They stay in third, Real Madrid. Puts them back above Liverpool. They started the day above Liverpool. I'm trying to keep across all of this, Michael. It's making my head hurt, I'm not going to lie.
So where is it at the moment?
So Real Madrid are third.
Thank you.
Liverpool are fourth. Ball played down the side, looking for the run of Barish Alper, and again Kusanov gets there. He's got that little bit of pace, Kusanov, and he's been able to thwart Barish Alper just about every opportunity that the winger has had to get forward. But Nunez, a little missed touch, he's able to recover, and Cherki does the sensible thing, he thinks, and plays it back to Kusanov, but then gets another little bit of an earful from his manager. But Manchester City playing it out, and now Ait Nouri with space to drive over the halfway line. There are players running ahead of him asking for the ball. He tries to feed it to Haaland, but it's a really important touch from Salah to move it out for a Manchester City corner. There were options for Ait Nouri there. Should he have perhaps played it a little earlier?
Yeah, maybe. Salah's recovery run was good, but it was earlier on actually, the crossfield pass. Kusanov under pressure, Doku gets fouled, he flicks it off, but he's not in a good position. He might have a problem here, Jeremy Doku, as he just gets caught. Pep Guardiola's just pointed, is it hamstring of Doku? Ait Nouri, great run right through the middle, try to just put Haaland in on a pass, and he's just on the shoulder, but defensive line withstood it. But here he is, Doku on the floor as expected, and I just seen a second ago that sign to Pep.
Yeah, he missed the game against Buda Glimt after taking a heavy challenge. He's taken a few of them here tonight as well. He came off the bench against Wolves. He took a heavy challenge actually at the end of that game too, and he's now down getting some treatment, and I think this will be the end of his night, because we can see below us that Phil Foden is getting his shirt on, ready to come on, and getting a few instructions from his manager as well. And that's a real blow for Manchester City, but for Jeremy Doku as well. He's been superb in this first 35 minutes, set up both of the goals, and it looks to be an ankle that they're working with. I think
it's towards his hamstring. Do you know, when you looked at that crossfield sort of ball that he flicks, he was under pressure in the middle and he knew he could almost leave it, but what he does, he flicks with his toe out to flick it out to Ait Nouri, and he could have maybe just left it, but it was maybe a last minute change. And just getting another look here, if you just see, he just tries to flick it, or does he mistouch it completely? Sanchez comes tight, and maybe that stretch, but he straight away, he said to the bench, hamstring as he pointed to it. This is a big problem. Let's hope it's only one of those that you catch early, as Phil Foden just goes to see how he is with the manager.
So Phil Foden is on in the place of Jeremy Doku. Surprised that he didn't start Foden, or does that just show the sort of riches that Pep Guardiola has to choose from?
It's a massive statement, that, when no Phil Foden in a game like this, when we've seen performances. Yes, he's been quiet of late, and now it's an opportunity for him to go and get something.
Corner comes in, headed clear by Sanchez, but it's picked up on the edge of the box by Foden. It flicked up off his arm though, so a free kick to Galatasaray inside their own penalty area. And we spoke about tonight perhaps being a big night for Erling Haaland. It must be a big night for Phil Foden too.
Well, it is now. I think when disappointment of not making the starting 11 sunk in, he'll have felt sorry for himself, but then you haven't got time, have you, at this level? Big summer, big games. He's just got to find a formula of constantly scoring, affecting games. Overall, I think it was good to see him back, and you're saying he's a given for England and a given to start here, but it changes when your team aren't getting results. He sort of just lost a little yard from where he was.
Well, a few goals to tell you about. Napoli have equalised against Chelsea through Vergara, so that did drop Chelsea out of the top 8, but Bodo Glimt have equalised against Atletico Madrid, so that now moves Chelsea back into the top 8. So Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester City and Liverpool currently all amongst the top 8 this evening. Manchester City courtesy of goals from Erling Haaland and from Ryan Cherki, as now Ait Nouri comes down the left hand side again. Opportunity to cross, deflects into the path though of Cherki, into the penalty area, left hand side. Great feet, tries to get the shot away, deflected. Another Manchester City corner.
There he is again, crossfield, Ryan Cherki. He fizzed it like a stinger just off the grass, about 6 inches up, all the way out to Ait Nouri, and then he drives forward, gets it back. Fast feet in the penalty area, travels across the ground but deflected wide. Now delivery, the last couple haven't been as good as you would expect. All making the box. You're just seeing Núñez sitting out, Nori and Foden on the edge, and now the delivery's got to be right on top of the goalkeeper. Haaland would like another goal.
He would indeed, and there's a few more in there who would like to get their names on the score sheet as well. As the corner comes in, looking central, it's bundled clear, not very convincingly, and Manchester City recycle it, edge of the area through Foden, but he's sold the pass short, and now Osimhen is clear over the halfway line, and that is superb defensive running from Matheus Núñez, who gave the ball away, was sold the pass short. Osimhen looked clear, and Núñez got back to win it before he could cause any damage. Brilliant once again from the fullback.
Yeah, Núñez lucky for me. He should have played it safe side. He tries to diagonal ball it, and Osimhen goes tight. And then you see Leroy Sané backing him up, but his left foot just went away from him, poor. And there was a good counter-attack on from Galatasaray. That was a big chance, and Núñez, yes, he did recover, but he got lucky.
Yeah, he recovered and then did definitely had a bit of a word with Foden for that short past him, but Galatasaray have a throw-in down in front of us, level with the edge of Manchester City's penalty area, which Jakobs will take. And he showed great pace, just getting a little replay of it now, great pace to get back. As the long throw from Jakobs comes into the area, cleared by Kusanov, knocked back in by Lamina, and that looks like it was offside by Barish Alper. The flag now does go up as he tried to knock it back across the 6-yard box, but clearly offside.
It was about a minute late, wasn't it? We were saying, oh, come on then, we can see it. And then it goes right across. There's nothing coming of it. Just that flick. Yeah, it's clearly an offside, but I don't know why when it's really like that they wait so long. Nori just about to sort of blast it away. The flag goes up. Strange, Bernardo Silva in his own area, just starting off the build. Donnarumma's just waiting for the press. You've got to be careful there in front of you.
Into the final 5 minutes of the 45 as Haaland flicks it on, looking for the run of Marmoush, but Sanchez sliding in, manages to clear it, and Lamina picks it up in the centre of the pitch, keeps possession for Galatasaray. These two teams meeting in European football for the first time, although Galatasaray have a good record against English sides. And in fact, the last time they were in Manchester, they were victorious against Manchester United on the other side of the city. Tonight it is not going their way here on their return to Manchester. City leading by 2-0. It's also the first time Pep Guardiola has faced Turkish opposition, which I found quite unusual given his pedigree in this competition.
Yeah, it is mad, isn't it? An activity between Manchester City. I remember a night in Istanbul, though.
He will indeed remember a night
not recovered,
in Istanbul.
I don't think. It wasn't just a night. It was a.
Well, are you talking about yourself, or?
Well, I think it was. I think it was everybody who was over there. I think who was associated with the football club.
Yeah. Well, tonight he is on course for his 400th win as Manchester City boss. Galatasaray picking up possession inside their own half, but driving over the halfway line now through Salah. Cuts it back from Lamina, gets it back, looking for options. He looked frustrated there, Salah, that he wasn't getting too much movement ahead of him, and it's gone all the way back to their goalkeeper Shaqiri, who now looks for an option ahead of him and just passes it straight out of the pitch. So Manchester City will get the throw-in. I was expecting perhaps a little more energy from Galatasaray this evening. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think you've seen with their intent straight away, didn't you? From kick-off, they went direct, they tried to put pressure on. But I think they've caught them out, haven't they, with the tactics, with the way they've gone. As I mentioned, you'll come inside, the wide players, cause an overload there. And what happens there is Marmoush has just tried to stretch him, give himself a little bit of space. And then it's Haaland's turn. So they haven't had the sort of remit to understand what next from the management team of Galatasaray. They had to really change, and they haven't done that. City have been all over them.
It's been very comfortable for Manchester City. The 2 goals have helped as the long ball comes in, looking for Osimhen, who's got in behind Kusanov. A little nudge in the back, allowed Donnarumma to just get in and grab the ball right on the edge of his penalty area, and Osimhen applauds the long ball over the top. He's been a very isolated figure this evening, Victor Osimhen.
It was a great long ball actually. Donnarumma coming towards the edge of his area, cushioning off on the chase as Osimhen just gets into a position thinking, here we go. He just nudges him. That's it. That's a good sign. Just to get it right, it can be dangerous. In an advanced position, you do it and the striker goes down, you know what happens, but he just got that one spot on, just a little tiny touch and gained the advantage back to City.
Both teams with a goal scoring machine leading their line. Haaland for Manchester City, Osimhen for Galatasaray, but it is the City striker who has his name on the score sheet. Osimhen hasn't really had the service as yet to make any impact in this game this evening. Manchester City will hope that remains the same throughout as Silva tries to get away from Osimhen and create another attack for City as we head towards half-time. Just a minute to go of the 45, and Chelsea have now gone behind in Napoli. Rasmus Højlund with the goal. So Napoli 2, Chelsea 1, and that moves Chelsea into 12th in the table, drops them out of the top 8. It's also important for Napoli as well, that goal. They are 19th, in danger of dropping out of the competition altogether, but that ensures that they will stay in it. Not a seeded playoff match, but they will just want to be involved. As the shot from Foden comes in high and wide over the top of the bar, but there was all of a sudden space, and Ait Nouri again with plenty of grass to run into finds Foden. His shot just wayward.
Do you know what, the last few games I've been asking questions about Ait Nouri. Where is he? We needed defensive reinforcements. Obviously not done enough. He got that injury early on in the season, lost his place to Nico O'Reilly, and then he's gone away at AFCON, and then coming back and wondering, could he play? Could he get more involvement? He's had a really good half of football. Good supply line, got down that left-hand side. The last Champions League game was the one in the first half. Leverkusen, where really lost his place and cemented that he wasn't in for some time. So he's done well.
High ball from Shakir, one in the middle of the park by O'Reilly, but Galatasaray pick up the loose ball. Arsenal have gone 3-1 ahead against Kairat. Gabriel Martinelli with the goal for them, so they continue their 100% record in this group phase. As Galatasaray look to build down this left-hand side, Nunez, though, will get to that ball before Jakobs and just shepherd it out for a City throw-in down next to their own corner flag. We've only got 1 minute added time, and that is it up. So that is the half-time whistle. It has been a very calm, composed and comfortable first 45 for Manchester City. They are doing exactly what they need to do to ensure that they go through automatically into the round of last 16. They lead by 2-0 thanks to Haaland and Cherki's first half goals, both of them set up by Jeremy Doku, who has gone off injured since then. He was having such a huge impact, but Michael Brown, this is what Manchester City had to do. They had to try and take the sting out of this game, control it, dominate it. They've done all that.
I think they've done that so far. I think you've got to understand the opposition, the players you're up against in the Champions League, not to be too complacent, because they have this season been inconsistent. They've conceded too many goals, but there's been some good performances there. They were steady, the shape was really good. Doku, fantastic display from him. He's had to go off, which means the sour point of the first half, but just looking, Haaland had a chance, didn't take it. Next one, clinical with that little dink over the goalkeeper. Ryan Cherki's been the star of the show as well. Some great supply line, some lovely fast feet. He gets his finish after getting the telling off from the manager. So a real solid first half performance from City, but as I mentioned, not to be too complacent at the start of the second half.
Absolutely. I'm going to try and get my head around what is happening all around these Champions League games. What a night it is for this final group phase match. But for Manchester City, they are doing what they need to do. They are inside that top 8. There's a big 45 to come. We will be here for it, but right now let's rejoin Mark Chapman.
And it's the set-piece Premier League team. And PSG have looked vulnerable from long throws, and it's Dan Burn who does brilliantly. I think Marquinhos doesn't cover himself in glory with the first header. Dan Burn just keeps it alive, heads the ball back into the centre of the 6-yard line, and Willock, he anticipates where the header's going. and then nods the ball past Safanov in the PSG goal. It's a really good header. It's a header he should score. And Newcastle from nowhere are level.
Remarkably so, Newcastle back all square with that goal from Joe Willock, and that takes Newcastle currently, we're not sure a draw would be enough, but at the moment, Chris, it would be for a place in the top 8. Newcastle with that goal, there's the half-time whistle, that goal has taken Newcastle into 8th position. Well, that's a real turn of events. It looked at one stage as though PSG were going to bury this unusual team selection that Eddie Howe has come up with, but who knows best? 1-1 at half-time?
Absolutely. Didn't play the team we thought Eddie Howe was going to play. Half a Newcastle team, some may say, but PSG came out of the blocks, didn't they, and really pushed Newcastle back, missed a penalty early on, then got themselves in front. Vitinha with a really tidy finish, but then they lost the flow a little bit. Newcastle sort of found a way back into the game, pushed PSG back just before half-time, and then a set-piece goal. They're all level and all to play for.
And also, goodness knows what happened with that potential penalty for a handball off Marquinhos. That just seemed to disappear.
Well, maybe Dan Burn. I think Dan Burn is having words with the referee.
Exactly,
I mean, it's,
as they walk off the field, he is saying how did PSG get a penalty for handball early in the match that Pope saved, and how did Newcastle not? But they didn't. However, Willock to the rescue so far. Paris Saint-Germain won.
Just saying, sorry, John, as going over into the tunnel, Jason Tindall clearly gesturing to his arm to the referee as well. Newcastle enraged with that decision, quite rightly so.
That came before Willock's equaliser, and at half-time, Paris Saint-Germain won, Newcastle won, which might be enough for Newcastle.
And it is at the moment, as John said, it has them in 8th in the as it stands table, and in fact that equaliser for Newcastle drops Paris Saint-Germain down to 7th. What's helping Newcastle at the moment as they try and stay in the top 8 is that Atletico Madrid are being held at home by Bodo Glimt. So Atletico Madrid just missing out on the top 8 as things stand. Manchester City, as things stand, 5th in the table. They've had a very comfortable first half at the Etihad. Ian Dennis.
Yes, they have. They lead 2-0 against Galatasaray, so they are on course, not just because they're leading, but remember they need results to go their way as well in at least 4 of the other games, and currently 5 are going in their favour elsewhere. Haaland put them ahead after 10 minutes. Doko's through ball, left-footed chip over the advancing goalkeeper. Doku again then the provider with a cut back from the left just before the half hour. Cherki and Mark placed the ball past Chakir, the goalkeeper. Doku, though, has since left the field through injury. They could have made it 3 before the break. Nouri, who's been getting a lot of space down the left-hand side. He was streaking away down that flank. He crossed low. Foden, the replacement for Doku, skied it, but Manchester City on course for a top 8 finish. 2-0 they lead at the break.
And Benfica have turned things round at home to Real Madrid. John Bennett.
Yes, Pavlidis has just scored a penalty. Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1. Benfica deserve it. They have been excellent. So Real Madrid at the moment still in the top 8. They're 5th, but it's getting nervy for them. Benfica still outside the playoff places. Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1.
Thank you very much. Speaking of turning things around, Napoli have done exactly the same thing at home to Chelsea. So this at the moment knocks Chelsea out of the top 8 and gets Napoli into the top 24. Chris Coles.
Indeed, Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. This game being played at frenetic pace. Napoli doing most of the attacking and have a merited lead. Chelsea had struck first. Enzo Fernandez penalty given for handball from a free kick. Great penalty as well, low into the corner. But Napoli responded. Antonio Vergara's fine turn in the box. He finished low into the corner, and then Rasmus Højlund in good goal-scoring form on the end of a low ball into the front post. He finished it off the frame of the goal, but on the stroke of half-time, João Pedro missed a glorious chance to equalise, heading over a terrific cross from the left. But as you say, Mark, with this score, Chelsea are finishing outside the top 8. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1.
There are a lot of things at the moment that are going Spurs' way. Sporting are losing. Barcelona are losing. We'll get details of those two games in a little while. Spurs themselves goalless at the moment in Frankfurt. John Akers.
lots going for them away from this game, not a lot going for them in this match in particular. They've hit the post. Odebear with a shot from the edge of the D with his left foot, hit the inside of the post, low, brilliant effort from him. So that was a bit unlucky. And then Jabi Simons had a goal ruled out by the VAR for an offside in the build-up. So they've had their share of misfortune, Spurs, in this one, but right towards the end of the half, Frankfurt had a chance of their own. Hugo Larsson hit the crossbar on a breakaway. So half-time, no goals. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Spurs 0, but they're 6th in the table as it stands.
Real Madrid going behind to Benfica in that game, and it is 2-1 at half-time there, has a positive effect for Manchester City because it puts City into the top 4. Remember, if you finish in the top 2, you get the home leg second all the way to the semi-finals. Finish 3rd or 4th, you get the home leg second all the way to the quarter-finals. So that's a big goal that Benfica has scored when it comes to City, who are 4th. Liverpool comfortably in 3rd and comfortably ahead on the night. Lee Blakeman.
Routine so far for Liverpool, leading Qarabag 2-0. McAllister got the first 15 minutes in, just about forcing a Szoboszlai corner over the line. Wirtz made it 2 from the edge of the area 6 minutes later. Tidy finish from him. Ekitike's put one just wide. Robertson's put one just over. Gakpo and Szoboszlai have gone close as well. In fact, the only thing that's gone wrong for Liverpool is Frimpong went off 2 minutes in with what looked like a groin problem. Liverpool on their way to the win that they need to be sure. Liverpool 2, Qarabag 0.
Arsenal are going to finish the group stage with a 100% record. John Southall.
They are. They lead Kairat by 3 goals to 1 entertaining half. Arsenal 1 up after 2 minutes. Good Gyökeres finish. That lasted 5 minutes. A Calafiore foul and Jorginho equalised from the penalty spot. The second, Kai Havertz, his first start in almost a year, curled a shot into the bottom left corner. It's been good in this first half, Havertz. Gyökeres could have scored a hat-trick. 1 miss from 3 yards out. He will not want to see again. Martinelli tapped in the third, and surely, as you say, top spot is secured, and they are heading for 8 wins from 8. Arsenal 3, Kairat 1.
So Arsenal will be finishing first, Bayern second as things stand. Liverpool and Manchester City 3rd and 4th. Real Madrid are 5th, Spurs 6th, Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle complete the top 8. Let's focus on the sides currently making a right mess of it this evening. Starting with Barcelona, Maz Farouki.
They really are. Big 45 minutes ahead for them. They need more than the draw to make the top 8 as it stands, and they trail at home by a 1-0 to Copenhagen. The 2 players of the match so far, the 17-year-old up front for the Danish side, Victor Thorfarson, who swept in a lovely through ball for the goal early on, and then Dominik Kotarski in the Copenhagen goal has pulled off several impressive saves as Barcelona have peppered his area. The best of the Barca chances, though, a shot from the D from Eric Garcia, which had the keeper beaten, and that ricocheted off the crossbar to safety. Half-time, Barcelona 0, Copenhagen 1.
John Bennett trying to be across everything else. And when we're looking at those sides trying to get into the top 8, Sporting, Inter and Atalanta all not really taking advantage of what's going on ahead of them.
Yeah, and Atletico Madrid as well being frustrated as well against Bodo Glimt. They took the lead, looked as though they were coasting, but at the moment they're being frustrated. They're in 9th. I think the big losers so far, though, Mark, are Marseille in terms of the race for the playoffs. So they've dropped out of the playoffs. They're 2-0 down against Club Brugge, who've moved up to 22nd. By Leverkusen, one of the big winners so far, 2-0 up against Villarreal. They've moved to 17th, securing their playoff place at the moment. Athletic Club 2, Sporting 1, so Athletic Club securing their playoff place, but Sporting dropping out of the race for the top 8. But at the moment, Marseille look as though they'll be the big losers of the night.
Let me give you all the scores then. I was going to maybe try and give you the ones that you hadn't heard, but I can't remember what you've heard and what you haven't. So here are them all. Ajax 0, Olympiacos 0, Arsenal 3, Kairat 1, Athletic Club 2, Sporting 1, Atletico Madrid 1, Bodo Glimt 1, Barcelona 0, Copenhagen 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Villarreal 0, Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, Inter 0, Club Brugge 2, Marseille 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Spurs 0, Liverpool 2, Qarabag 0, Manchester City 2, Galatasaray 0, goalless between Monaco and Juventus. Napoli lead Chelsea 2-1, PSV and Bayern are goalless, Paphos 1, Slavia Prague 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, Newcastle 1, Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Atalanta 0. Michael Brown at the Etihad, it's going perfectly for Manchester City, not only on the pitch, but out of all the teams that started the day on 13 points. They're the only ones that are winning at the moment.
Long way to go, chappers. We're just having a little look at it. Yes, it's looking good, but do you know, they started Galatasaray putting City under pressure, and then Haaland missed that opportunity with his header into the far corner, and you felt, is it going to be one of those days? The manager questioned him, and then Doku, who was wonderful, 2 assists. He's got off with a slight hamstring, and it doesn't look good, to be honest, but a great ball into him. Haaland, great finish. Ryan Cherky in the middle of the pitch. He's showboated, actually. He got told off from the manager for losing the ball, and then a minute later, straight away, he reacts, puts it in the corner, and it all smiles. So, yes, going well, but City are fragile defensively, we know. So, as I would say, a long way to go.
To Leon Osman, who's been watching Napoli against Chelsea, and on the balance of play, you'd say that scoreline is fair, wouldn't you, at the break? 2-1 to the Italians?
Yeah, I would. I think Chelsea started well, deservedly got the lead, albeit from a penalty kick, from a handball. But I just thought they were going to kick on from there, and I thought they'd start showing that early dominance in the rest of the game, and they seem to take a backward step. Napoli started to figure out how Chelsea have set up defensively. We talked about James playing centre-half. He's kind of been a centre-half, he's kind of been a right-back. The kind of times Andre Santos has dropped in to play centre-half, and it took Napoli about 25 minutes to figure out where to run, and now they've started to pick holes in that Chelsea defensive setup. They're running the channels really well. Most of the times that Chelsea attack, they're coming up against quite a stubborn low block, as we call it nowadays. But whenever Napoli attack, everything seems to be a race. Everybody seems to be running back to that Chelsea goal, and it's quite exciting for Napoli, but far too many opportunities given away by Chelsea.
Thank you very much, Leon. Second halves on the way. We'll be back in Paris, where it's Paris Saint-Germain 1, Newcastle 1 at the break. It's exactly 9 o'clock on 5 Live. Richard Foster has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. President Trump is threatening Iran with military action, saying a massive armada is moving with great power and purpose towards the country. He says Tehran's running out of time to negotiate a deal on their nuclear program. Iran says its armed forces are ready to respond to any aggression. Here's our North America editor, Sarah Smith.
Donald Trump can sense an opportunity to try and topple a much weakened leadership in Iran, but that doesn't mean he's ready to do so. It could get much, much messier if he was going to try and topple Iran's rulers, and it could spread out across the region. That is not the kind of thing he wants to get involved in.
2 federal agents involved in the fatal shooting of Alex Pretty in Minneapolis have been placed on leave. He was a US citizen and was shot and killed on Saturday. The Prime Minister is convinced his trip to China will bring benefits to the UK. He's meeting President Xi tomorrow as part of a 3-day visit. Critics have raised concerns about the country's human rights record. Luke de Pulford is from the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China. He told 5 Live the government shouldn't give in to Beijing's demands.
We can't get off on the wrong foot here, making concessions in order to go to China in the way that the Prime Minister has. I think that's the issue. Beijing is treating us like they do other middle powers. You must make concessions in order to come. And if you want economic preferment, then you're going to have to dance to our tune. And I think that's what's going on here, I'm afraid.
A former singer who starred in the Queen-themed musical We Will Rock You has been found guilty of rape and attempted rape. Ross Davidson, who's from North London, was also known for singing with Spandau Ballet in 2018. He'll be sentenced at a later date. The prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann has accepted an offer of a council home in northern Germany. Christian Bruckner had been living in a tent in a forest after being unable to find accommodation since leaving prison last year. And an investigation's underway after a wheel fell off a British Airways plane just after it had taken off from Las Vegas airport. The wheel can be seen falling to the ground in a video on the BBC News website. The Airbus A350 landed safely in London 9 hours later.
Missed a massive moment?
Want to hear that last-minute goal again?
If you're listening on most smart speakers, we've got you covered.
Just say, ask BBC Sounds to rewind 5 minutes.
And relive it all over again.
What a goal! Remind us of that magic phrase again.
Ask BBC Sounds to rewind 5 minutes.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to the Etihad. The players back out on the field for the second half. Manchester City with that 2-goal lead, which has them safely inside the top 8 of this Champions League group phase on this final match day. Michael Brown alongside me for this one, and it's been comfortable for Manchester City, but they can't be taking their foot off the gas at all in this second half.
No, they can't. The table looks really good, doesn't it? Not just a performance and the result, that others are going their way also. So this is about how they start, just waiting now for the start from everybody to start exactly the same time, and that's where the slight delay is. And there's that whistle. As Foden gets it going, opportunity for him. As you said, he had a good chance, didn't he, Foden?
Yeah, Foden coming on to replace the injured Jeremy Doku. No other changes at the break as Manchester City look to try and start on the front foot, but Galatasaray get it away, and it is hoisted up in there by Ait Nouri. That was an interesting connection with the ball he just made there. He's hooked it over
It's been watching
his head
Bernardo in the first half,
to the
hasn't
far
he?
side and off for a Galatasaray throw, and
It's
that
like
was
Bernardo's.
quite yes.
Bernardo's done it the other way. He's hooked it the other, just sort of clear it.
I don't know what that was. It looked like one of my golf shots heading in completely the wrong direction. But I'll run you through the two teams. So Manchester City, Donnarumma in goal. Back four of Ait Nouri, Ake, Kusanov and Nunez. Bernardo Silva and Nico O'Reilly moving into that midfield position this evening. Foden now on for the injured Doku, Marmoush and Cherki supporting Erling Haaland. And it is Haaland and Cherki that have found the breakthrough this evening to give Manchester City that 2-goal lead. For the visitors, Galatasaray, Çakır in goal, a back four of Jakobs, Bardacci, former Spurs defender Davinson Sanchez and Salah. A couple of familiar names in midfield in Ilkay Gundogan and former Wolves midfielder Mario Lemina. Leroy Sané, another former Manchester City player, on one side, Barış Alper Yilmaz on the other, Gabriel Sara in behind, Victor Osimhen, who has been somewhat starved of service this evening. But Michael, one thing we do know about the Nigerian is he is pretty deadly when he gets an opportunity.
Yeah, he had that half chance that just got away from Kusanov, hit it near post. Donnarumma, comfortable one, but it was the breakaway actually, Haley, where he had the good chance. It was where Nunez got caught, and then it was him and Sane who tried to reverse it back, and really it was poor execution on the one big chance that they did have, and City stayed comfortable.
Well, we've had an early goal in the second half of the matches around the Champions League, and it's gone the way of Tottenham. They lead in Frankfurt by 1-0. Kolo Muani with the finish as Erling Haaland is bundled to the ground and wins a free kick for Manchester City midway between the halfway line and the edge of the penalty area. So that goal for Tottenham moves them above Manchester City into fourth. Manchester City in fifth. Newcastle also into that top eight. They equalised against PSG right before half time. So Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester City and Newcastle currently in the top eight. Chelsea, the one English team who will be facing the playoff round as things stand. It can all change as Ait Nouri plays the ball back to Ake and back to his goalkeeper. And what do you think the message will have been from Pep Guardiola? Simply keep doing what you've been doing?
No. I think there's improvement everywhere needed, and that's what you'll demand. That's what you'll really show the players what to expect, what next, and that's where his team, all support network he has, the analysts will come down from the areas above and actually explain where he feels like he can exploit, where he can control the remainder of the game.
Well, Donnarumma just teasing Gabriel Sara, the Galatasaray number 10, trying to come forward. Donnarumma eventually picking the ball up and now plays it out to Kusanov. Gets it back, the goalkeeper, and the Galatasaray supporters still making noise, but that's a poor clearance from Donnarumma straight into the path of Sané, who cuts inside, tries to play it into Lemina, and again just the connection in that final third wasn't quite there. An opportunity once again for Galatasaray, but now Manchester City given the opportunity to come forward as Marmoush goes down, and it will be a free kick to Manchester City just in front of Pep Guardiola's technical area. And that's been Galatasaray's problem tonight, really, Michael. They've had opportunities in the final third, they just haven't been able to get it to stick.
Yeah, but just looking at Leroy Sané, I'm sort of going, go on, stay on it. It was a mistake by Donnarumma. He wasn't comfortable, was he, with that left-footed clip out wide, and then they countered quickly. But when he done that, I'm thinking, stay on, it'll open up, get your shot away. maybe a bit unselfish. That's twice, isn't it? He's tried to sort of lay in Osimhen, and I mean, now it's a bad foul there from Mamouche.
Yeah, Mamouche catches Salah, who goes down with a yelp, clutching his right ankle. So Mamouche goes over to help him to his feet, and Galatasaray will win the free kick deep inside their own half, as Okan Buruk is out trying to pass instructions on. Their head coach has been at Galatasaray since the summer of 2022. He actually played in Galatasaray's only European Cup final, as a supporter comes onto the field of play and interrupts proceedings. But Okan Buruk, part of the Galatasaray team that won Turkey's only ever European Cup final, beating Arsenal in the final of the UEFA Cup back in 2000. Supporters are now being ushered off the field, and these are things that we don't want or need to see in a game which has a lot on the line for both teams.
That's just silly, isn't it? It's still on now. More obviously come on because of following others.
Supporters are making their thoughts clear as another supporter makes his way on, and now things are being thrown from the top tier. This is descending into an atmosphere that we don't want to see in football, as objects are being thrown from the tier above us down onto the playing surface. Another supporter is grabbed by security staff, and whilst it was actually the flag of Iran that was being waved by the supporters that came onto the field, so that's what their message has been. Play has just been stopped momentarily whilst supporters are ushered off the field. So let me run you through the Champions League table as things stand. Arsenal leading the way. They lead 3-1 tonight against Kairat. Their 100% record in this competition looks like it will be intact. Bayern Munich still in second place as they started the evening. Liverpool now third, Tottenham fourth, Manchester City fifth, Real Madrid losing 2-1 to Benfica are sixth, PSG seventh and eighth, as the ball across is headed clear by Kusanov, and that was an opportunity for Osimhen. He was very nearly in there. Timely intervention from the Manchester City defender as play restarted, and very nearly restarted in the best possible way for Galatasaray, who hold on to possession now, and they look a little bit more sprightly in this second half.
Yeah, Salah down that right hand side does really well. That deep cross into the middle. You see Victor Osimhen just waiting, thinking here we go. Good recovery. Kusanov, Ake getting into good positions. Much better from them. Galatasaray needed to do more.
Flicked on really nicely to Jakobs, but again Kusanov is there in front of the marauding fullback, and Kusanov does really well to knock it off Jakobs and win a throw-in deep inside his own half. He's been tested a few times tonight, Kusanov, and he's been pretty unflustered throughout the evening.
Yeah, City trying to creep up, get high line, but wherever possible, you've got to put the ball in, you've got to cross, and that's what they've done. Kusanov done okay. City now just don't want this game to go flat. I was here at the weekend, and look, they had control in the Premier League against Wolves, but they weren't really convincing. And it gives teams a lifeline, doesn't it? It gives them a belief that they can just get that goal to try and chase the ending.
Galatasaray at the moment sitting 20th in the table, so they will be in the playoffs, albeit they are just a point ahead of Marseille, who have dropped out of that top 24. So it is very tight for Galatasaray. They would much rather get something to make it a little bit more comfortable for them, but as it stands they trail by 2-0. Liverpool 3-0 up against Qarabağ now. Mo Salah with the goal there, so it is all going very much according to plan at Anfield as Jakobs comes forward left side. He's got Nunez for company, drops it back to Sarah, and now the shot comes in, blocked. It will be a Galatasaray corner. Pep Guardiola not happy. Kusanov felt the full force of that one, just down on his haunches at the moment.
It was a great move, wasn't it, from the penalty area, one touch passing, and as they tried to set it, he got Leroy Sané off, and then full tilt, driving through the middle. Fordham tried to stop him, and as the ball goes out the left hand side, it comes across the middle quickly after another great little touch. Kusanov central, hits it on his chest, but I think he's probably asking for longer when he's not needed.
Corner comes in, and it's the head. Comes in from Victor Osimhen, straight into the arms, though, of Donnarumma, who looked very grateful that was heading straight his way. Good connection on it, Osimhen, but just couldn't direct it away from the big goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was coming away from goal, actually. Just on the edge of the 6-yard area. Thinking, there you go, head it down. But he maybe tries to force it. Bit of shoulder. Couldn't really get any power.
Manchester City trying to play out from the back, but now Ake goes long, but it's straight to the feet of Bardachki, but he's given it away, and now Manchester City have numbers forward. Marmoush cuts inside, and he stands on the ball, and it just flicks away from him, and Sanchez is there to clear it, and Marmoush looks to the heavens. What an opportunity, and he just got his feet wrong in the vital moment.
Yeah, he did. You're looking to get it away, but again, when you get breaks, you get counters. Pep Guardiola stepping to the front of the technical area, hoping for more, better quality. But we just didn't see it, did we? As he just slips over. He's got to do better, really, Marmoush.
10 minutes of the second half played. No goals yet in this second 45, so Manchester City still leading by 2-0. Haaland and Cherki with the first half finishes that have them currently heading safely through into the last 16 as they win a free kick inside Galatasaray's half, a handball. So it will be Nunez who takes it, a little dart forward from Bernardo Silva, but Nunez drops it to Cherki. It's back now with Kusanov and now Ake. Plays it in to Aït-Nouri. Nico O'Reilly in space, crossing the halfway line. The challenge comes in from Sani, wins the ball cleanly, and O'Reilly tries to still knock it into the path of a blue shirt, but Galatasaray come away with it, and Leroy Sani with it deep in his own half, though. He's had his moments tonight, Sani, but perhaps haven't been able to get him on the ball in space and dangerous areas often enough.
Just felt like it's a little bit more. Do you know, you've seen flashes. He's got that brilliance, but again, affecting the game for longer periods. To be that top player, because he's got everything, and you really expected more when he set off for him to fulfill obviously a touch more than he did, and obviously a successful career, but such talent, such amazing feet, glides past players. He was a joy here to watch, and then he got a bad injury at the Etihad.
Galatasaray crossing the halfway line now. Jakobs trying to get to the ball ahead of Cherki, who challenges him but wins the ball, saves the referee, and plays it off Cherki in the challenge. Plays it off, Sarah, in the challenge, because it's gone out for a Manchester City goal kick. And he was looking for a free kick there, Sarah, not getting it. So Manchester City with the opportunity to again play out from the back. Pep Guardiola standing down in front of us, arms behind his back, hands clasped, just watching on. He's been very animated, as he always is on the touchline, but looks fairly comfortable and calm at the moment as Galatasaray win a free kick just on the halfway line. Nunez pleading his case, but the free kick awarded. And very important for Manchester City, for all of the teams actually, particularly the likes of Manchester City, who have got a League Cup semi-final to come as well next week, to not have 2 extra games to play in February.
Yeah, it's so important for them. The squad obviously as well is littered with injuries. A lot of them are not coming back anytime soon, so yeah, don't need any more. Just want to keep sustaining, keep pushing in all competitions.
Well, Nico Gonzalez is back on the bench this evening, so one perhaps who's got his injury troubles behind him. And Mark Gahey and Antoine Semenyo unavailable tonight. They won't be included in Manchester City's Champions League squad until the knockout stages. Rodri suspended, and on top of that, all the injuries that they have. So Liverpool have gone 4-0 up, goals raining in at Anfield. Ekitike with that one. Bayern Munich have also taken the lead through Musiala. So Arsenal, Bayern and Liverpool now make up the top 3 of this Champions League group stage. No goals raining in this second half here at the Etihad, but we did get a couple in the first half, and Manchester City lead by 2-0. But there's a lovely ball over the top to release Marmoush, who's got Sanchez for company. He's had to cut back, looking for support. He gets it from Cherki, and Cherki has space on that right hand side to release Nunez, but Silva takes over. Now looking for Nunez to continue his run, but did so just a little bit too late. So Cherki gets the ball back, space in the centre of the pitch for O'Reilly, passes it to Foden, just slips under Foden's foot, and Galatasaray able to pick it up before Sané is not fouled. I thought that was going to be given, but it is not, and Cherki is able to go forward, plays the ball just behind Marmoush, right on the edge of the area. A little bit scrappy it was there, as Sané is still down clutching his left shin, and now the referee stops play. Thought that would be given there, but Manchester City not quite capitalising on that fortune.
Yeah, I was looking as well as Leroy Sané just darts across the middle of the pitch. Foden gets across him. Just seeing why there isn't contact. He's asking for something before as Foden possibly steps. Let's get another little look here now just to see. Oh, his ankle goes fully. You just see it dart away into the ground. It's one of those where the ankle just gives way, the right side. Oh, it's a really uncomfortable situation. You get that sicky feeling, and then you wait and you go, please, is it just one of those I can run off? He's not showing much, is he, to get going, as we possibly see a little bit of action for Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, we're also seeing some images of the Galatasaray fans passing gloves around to each other. It is a cold evening here in Manchester, a crisp night, and that sometimes doesn't help. Those little tweaks that you get on the field of play might just be getting old, but everything seems to hurt a little bit more in the cold.
This is summer days for you, isn't it? Summer's day. You play in -3 on the golf course in Scotland.
I do. I'm wearing a lot more layers of clothes when I do that than I am right now, though. Nunez on the ball on the right hand side, thought about going forward but decides to cut back to Kusanov, and now back with Donnarumma. So there has been a goal, a big couple of goals actually, at Barcelona, who have now taken the lead against Copenhagen. Lamine Yamal with it as Manchester City come forward. Marmoush, and it is saved by Shakir, and then just made sure with the second one that it would not skip beyond him and in behind him. And Manchester City coming forward quickly. And now Sanchez is taken down by Silva. Free kick for Galatasaray, but a real opportunity for Marmoush.
Yeah, big chance. Erling Haaland involved. He's looking to try and swing it initially out to Marmoush, but he doesn't get it the first time as Erling Haaland drives, pushes, then reverse passes. Marmoush's first touch, but doesn't catch it clean. It almost needs to stay upright. It was crossed between putting it into the far corner or near post and right at the goalkeeper, but I expect to touch more as the manager now looks to that bench. Lots happening, lots of activity.
Yes, plenty of activity happening below us. I say that was a big goal for Barcelona because it gives them the lead and it moves them back into the top 8 at the expense of Newcastle, who drop into 9th place in one of those seeded playoff positions. Liverpool have gone 5-0 up. It was McAllister with his second of the evening. I think that's all the goals I have to tell you about that have gone in just now. Real Madrid, incidentally, are, as Donnarumma just has to smartly save from Osimhen, diving towards him. Came out of nothing, the ball across, and Osimhen, he was just diving down onto his stomach, trying to get any piece of his body to it as Donnarumma saved it. And that is a real opportunity from the edge of the area for Osimhen to pull one back here at the Etihad. Smart save from Donnarumma. Just kept it away from Osimhen at the second attempt.
Yeah, direct ball in behind City. Salah getting all the way up from that right back position, and he just sets it across right on the edge of the area, central. Smacks it into the floor. Osimhen, goalkeeper right there.
Ait Nouri's cross drops to Cherki on the edge of the area. Foden twisting. Great challenge and block by Sanchez. Galatasaray now trying to work it clear through Sarra. He's under pressure from O'Reilly, who does just enough, and Foden helps him out, picks up the loose ball. This game has risen a little bit in tempo in this second half. You can see Tijani Reinders down below us preparing to come onto the field of play as Ait Nouri plays it in behind for Cherki, left edge of the penalty area, doesn't go for the first time cross, instead cuts it back to Ait Nouri, gets it back, great feet again from Cherki, and it's fallen to Ait Nouri, right in front of the goalkeeper who blocks it. Back in by Foden. Sanchez, though, with space, able to take it clear as Osimhen tries to win that header up against Ake, but it's fallen to the feet of Kusanov. Great opportunity for Ait Nouri. Again, the feet from Cherki.
Cherki, Ait Nouri, give and go. They're playing, they've got a good combination. And all of a sudden they just couldn't clear it, could they? And it just falls to Ait Nouri right in front of the goalkeeper, blocked. That was a big chance, wonderful to see. Just makes it look so easy, doesn't it? Right, Cherki, as Reinders just is waiting. Pep Guardiola arms around him.
Ball down the right hand side, Nunez in a foot race. But it is Barish Alper who gets back ahead of him, and Galatasaray now with the ball on this left hand side, looking for options ahead. But they've dropped it back all the way to goalkeeper Shakir, who now launches it into the night sky, but to nobody, and Osimhen is telling him exactly what he feels about that clearance, which went nowhere in his vicinity, and he was the only Galatasaray player up the field of play. So Manchester City able to come forward again. Silva just slowing the play down, keeping control, keeping possession. Kusanov onto Cherki, who drops the shoulder, cuts inside just on the halfway line and moves it across the field to Ake. Ake's got Ait Nouri ahead of him. There is green grass ahead of Ait Nouri, but he decides not to take on Salah. But he now tries to get the return ball back. Sanchez diving in, and Galatasaray move it clear. Salah plays it in behind. Osimhen drops it, but now the flag goes up. I thought he might have been off. He's just not been able to get his runs quite timed perfectly with the balls that are coming in for him tonight, Osimhen. Whether that's the defender, the player's not playing it quickly enough, or Osimhen just running a little early. But again, that flag goes up as Reinders replaces Marmoush. So he will go in to that position in behind Erling Haaland. A number of changes coming up as well for Galatasaray. One of the players coming on, Lucas Torreira, the former Arsenal midfielder. He is coming onto the field of play, as is Yunus Akgün. And also coming on, Eren El Mali, who actually played and started in the last Champions League match day against Atletico Madrid, a 1-1 draw. So those three all come onto the field of play for Galatasaray as Manchester City get us back underway with that free kick for the Osimhen offside. Donnarumma looking for an option, and Reinders gets his first touch as Ait Nouri is able to come across the halfway line. Gets it back from Reinders, now driving towards the full-back. Reinders has made the run in behind, doesn't catch him, but the ball's nipped off his feet by Salah, and then Ait Nouri just bundles him to the ground.
So what he does, he actually drives down the left-hand side. Ait Nouri is really nice as he glides into good forward positions, and the run from Reinders was good inside the centre-back, but he tries to nutmeg. He doesn't play the simple one. Right, Cherki's gone right out onto that right-hand side. Now he's emptied the middle. Foden's going to be that support behind Erling Haaland, and he should just do better, shouldn't he? He could have looked to switch it.
So Lucas Torreira came on for Ilkay Gundogan. His evening back in Manchester, back at the Etihad, is over as Reinders and Sanchez clash heads. That was a really nasty one, and instantly the physios are coming onto the field of play. That was right in front of us, Michael, and I felt a sharp intake of breath. That was a really, really nasty clash of heads.
Yeah, it was really bad. Disappointing to see. Committed players. You see Tijani Reinders is coming on. You know he's going to run quick. You know he's going to try and fight for everything. But I think Sanchez as well comes across. It's a really difficult situation. And we're not even getting a replay, which tells you that it's not great to see. As Pep Guardiola just calls all the players into a huddle with his staff outside that technical area. Vital moment of the game now. Just looking to try and take as much control ease that burden towards the end of the game, because you know full well they're going to keep going. They're going to keep putting pressure on this Manchester City side. So the wait continues, and it could be some time.
Yeah, well, both players are moving, which is a positive sign, but certainly getting some lengthy treatment, and they can take as long as they want to make sure that these two players are okay to continue. As we get a replay of the goals that separate these two teams. Such a beautiful deft finish from Erling Haaland. It was a finish of such confidence as well from a player who, you know, you don't score in 5 games when you're Erling Haaland. People do start to criticise, despite the 26 you have already this season.
Do you know when he runs through on goal like he does? I don't know if there's anyone better in that situation. Do you know, like when he's away and his array of finishes that he's got, whether it be left-footed, he can go into that bottom corner, whether he can swing it, whether he can go around, but he also likes that one. And interviewed him, and he said, you know what, he said, I know that this particular goalkeeper does this, I know this one does that, but imagine going at full tilt. You know, you're also checking your shoulder for someone to come in, get close to you, and still have the audacity to go, right, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to wait, I'm going to dink it, I'm going to put it down the side. Look at him smiling, enjoying football, and he's great to witness when he's at the top of his game, and generally he is.
Yeah, it's that thing that I think a lot of the top sportsmen and women in the world say, that they have an ability to slow things down in their mind, slow down the opportunities and make the right decision, and Erling Haaland just seems to have that in spades.
It's like you on the golf course, and you keep telling us that's your game. You keep saying, right, no problem, you find the time when you're supposed to be a little bit under pressure, but it is, isn't it, having a composure. But do you know what that is? It's training for hours and hours and hours, studying, not just on the pitch, off the pitch, about what's next, putting yourself in those moments, and training as elite as you possibly can. He gives himself every chance.
Oh, I can see down on the field, I think it's Can Ihan who's getting ready down there. I don't know if that means that Davinson Sanchez is going to have to be replaced, but we'll wait and see. Both players still getting treatment down in front of us, but Tijjani Reinders standing up. He's got the white bandage around his forehead, strapped around his head, so obviously drew blood in that contact, but he is standing up. And Davinson Sanchez,
that'll be protocol now.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's the safety of the players, both of them with that strapped forehead that tells you everything, but both want to carry on.
Yeah.
A nice high five between the players, excellent to see. Great example to youngsters that sometimes accidents happen in this sport when you're committed. Let's hope they're both okay.
Well, they both look to be patched up, strapped up and ready to come back on to the field of play, both standing down below us, just off the pitch at the moment, as Torreira plays it back to Lamina, just on the edge of Galatasaray's penalty area. Pep Guardiola just double checks with Reinders if he's okay, gets a thumbs up, so it looks like the two players thankfully will be able to continue.
Terry Butcher-like?
Terry Butcher-like.
That'll confuse a few, won't it?
I don't remember it live, but I've seen the pictures.
I've
seen the pictures.
Okay, right. What are you saying? I was there.
I didn't want to say that. And the noise inside the Etihad has just raised a little bit. Galatasaray coming down this left-hand side, crossing, looking for Osimhen, and again a vital couple of touches. First Kusanov and then Ake to take it away from the striker, and they just have a quick embrace and on the edge of the 6-yard box, because Osimhen was coming in at the back post. Actually, Kusanov didn't get a touch, it was just Ake.
He was lucky. Do you know what? He's in two minds, but as he's travelling back to goal, I don't know what he tries to do. He sort of goes with his knee, hits his mid-drift, just drifts past the post. It's almost right foot you need to come there, but he's going with that left foot.
Yeah, Osimhen just stretching Manchester City once again. He certainly had a few more looks in this second half than he did in the first half, as Sanchez and Reinders rejoined for this Galatasaray corner, which will be taken from the right-hand side just down below us. The corner kick taker, Saras, surrounded by Galatasaray substitutes. Difficult to see him, but in comes the ball. Doesn't get past the front man. Nouri heading it clear. It will be a Galatasaray throw-in, though, level with the edge of Manchester City's penalty area.
Do you know what's funny there? Do you know, they're all in the set piece, I'm watching Reinders go back, Sanchez go back with his headbands, and I'm thinking, right, someone needs to capitalise. They marked each other. They might as well have come and stood over here and said, well, I'm not heading the ball, are you? Let's stay out of the way.
No, that's definitely the choice I would be making as well. Sani picks it up just outside the penalty area, finds Jakobs. Jakobs now into Atgun, the substitute. Sani gets it back. Atgun on this right hand side looks for the cross, but again Aït-Nouri is there to block. Sani dinks it over the top. There's nobody there. Donnarumma will scamper out of his goal, and he doesn't even pick it up. He's in so much space. He just plays it out with his feet to Aït-Nouri on this left hand side, and it's probably the area of the pitch that Galatasaray have been most disappointing in that final third. They've been able to get the ball forward into areas, but they've not really been able to click. They've not really been able to create anything hugely clear cut tonight.
Yeah, not so much, and we did expect so much more, didn't we? What a lovely little touch there from Haaland.
Beautiful touch, flick behind him right into the path of Cherki, and he was just waiting for Haaland to make the run forward and got under pressure, so was forced to chop it back, but Haaland is still up there, and Kusanov is making a marauding run forward but goes out of play, and that's got Pep Guardiola quite animated below us.
Open the gates. Kusanov was just on a major run, wasn't he? Pushing it past everybody, ended up down the right hand side with nowhere else to go. Seeing Pep now perplexed, just shouting, demanding more. He's asking questions behind him. He knows, he understands just one goal here, Galatasaray, it would change everything, the pressure, the momentum, and we know there's so many supporters here that are going to raise the roof as they just look to make changes again.
Osimhen picks it up, and now it is over on the right hand side with Salah. Galatasaray trying to get numbers forward. Sarra into Torreira with the bleach blonde head. The little midfielder spins away from a couple of City players to spread it over to this right hand side. Salah again cuts inside, finds Sane midway between the halfway line and the penalty area, drops it back to Sanchez inside the centre circle, and now Galatasaray will try and come up this left hand side, but again the door is closed, and so they drop it back. 76 minutes on the clock here at the Etihad. Manchester City leading by 2-0, which has them safely through to the last 16 of this Champions League, currently sitting in 6th place in the table. Also in that top 8, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle and Chelsea have both dropped out into the playoff positions, both of those teams drawing, so that could well change with a single goal. But it is Galatasaray here trying to get one back and try and make it an interesting final 10-15 minutes or so, and it goes to Sane looking for the little run of Torreira, but it was well read by O'Reilly, and now Manchester City can come clear. It is Cherki on the ball, who's got Reinders down the left hand side in that white headband. They play a nice little 1-2, and now Reinders puts it into the path of Haaland outside the area. Lovely little pass from Haaland back into the path of Reinders, but Shakir was out quickly and in between the two players, able to pick that ball up before Reinders got on the end of it.
Yeah, it's comfortable Shakir there, but coming across. But you see how much ground Tijani Reinders has covered. That was the difference, wasn't it? That's got him into good areas, and then he just ran away as Haaland put the reverse pass in. Good work there. Bernardo Silva, Nico O'Reilly. Osimhen just looking to get away. He's asking questions, but now Tijani Reinders just holding his face, hands on his knees. Long burster there that he's just had.
Yeah, Donnarumma just clearing that before Osimhen could put too much pressure on him onto this left hand side, with Ake now coming forward, his left knee heavily bandaged, Nathan Ake, and he's not got many options, but he does find O'Reilly. He moves it on quickly to Reinders, and now Aït-Nouri on the left hand side trying to play it in behind for Phil Foden. He's looking for the run of Haaland, and it's just ahead of the striker, and Foden slaps his knees in frustration. The ball there was on for Haaland, but too much on it, and Haaland couldn't, even with his long legs, get a touch on that one.
Yeah, Ryan Aït-Nouri down that left hand side, he pushed it into space, and Foden made the run. Good way to pass, and there's that Haaland outstretched left leg as Pep shows disappointment as Foden puts it across the 6-yard area. He just couldn't make it. I felt like if he was on the floor he might be able to just slide it in, but There's a moment there down to the right hand side as Galatasaray make that change.
They do make the change. Kanai Han has come on the field. He's replacing Leroy Sané. So Galatasaray's two former Manchester City players, Gundogan and Sané, have both played their part this evening, as Nico Gonzalez as well is waiting below us to make his return to action after an injury layoff, back on the bench this evening, and he will play some part tonight as Ait Nouri knocks it back to Ake. And there's been a goal in Frankfurt, and it's gone the way of Tottenham. They now lead by 2-0. Dominic Solanke with their second. So Tottenham struggling for league form, but certainly not for Champions League form. They now sit 4th place in this Champions League table, just in behind Liverpool. Barcelona in 5th, Manchester City 6th, Real Madrid 7th, despite currently losing 3-2 away to Benfica, and PSG drawing 1 apiece with Newcastle. They are in 8th, Newcastle dropping out on 9th. And now the little ball into the path of Haaland, who's got Lamina ahead of him. He's got Reinders on this left-hand side. Is there too much on the pass? Reinders does well to get there ahead of Sanchez. The two bandaged heads jostling for the ball, and it is Sanchez who will win that battle and win the throw-in. Just too much on the ball from Haaland.
Yeah, he could have played it back on the reverse, but he tries to get Reinders away because he just sees him running so quickly. And Reinders just ran out of steam, but here you go now. This will be a really good applause to someone of quality, someone who entertains, someone who gets you off your feet, make things happen. I personally really enjoy watching him, and as I said, not always the manager's best friend, but certainly the supporters.
Ryan Cherki, scorer of goal number 2, making way, and it is a return to the field of play for Nico Gonzalez. Missed a few games with injury, missed the defeat in Buda as well, but he's back and back playing Champions League football. And Ryan Cherki, you wouldn't ever want to take that out of him though, would you? That little bit that frustrates the manager, it kind of makes him special.
He is special, but again, he's got to just pick the right areas, the right timing in this formula. I think that's the key. That's what you have to understand. He has to play the formula of Pep for this to work properly.
Galatasaray on the ball, Salah deep inside his own half, and it's now gone all the way back to Çakır in goal. Erling Haaland just loping around trying to look interested, force the goalkeeper into making the early clearance, which he does all the way upfield to Donnarumma's.
It was poor, wasn't it? Çakır just sort of like looking and sort of just connects with it, and you can see all the forward players going, why have you just done that? You just give the ball back. To be much better than that. Bernardo Silva, very tricky, clever here. Now build up again for City. Just make sure you keep the tempo, keep the pace of this game up if I'm Manchester City.
Well, Inter Milan have now entered the top 8. They lead away to Dortmund. Federico Di Marco with a direct free kick. So they now take that 8th position, which drops PSG out of the top 8. The holders will have to go through the playoffs unless something changes.
You'd be delighted to get them, wouldn't you? You're thinking, all right, I've got half a chance here in these playoffs. Oh, who have you got? PSG. I didn't really expect that. But Spurs going well. Long may that continue. There's been a bit of pressure there from my former side. It looks good at the moment, sat in 4th, but what is it, as it stands?
It is as it stands, although, yeah, they look comfortably in.
You said it twice,
at the moment. Just getting another couple for you to mark on there. But yes, Inter into that top 8. And it was similar to last season, obviously Manchester City going out at that stage, having to play Real Madrid. It throws up some interesting scenarios, this new group phase. I enjoy it.
We were unsure last season, weren't we? We were thinking, how's it going to work? What's going to happen? A lot of the games at the end going to be forfeited, is it not? Because the last few games were in the old format, becoming quite sort of timid, weren't they? Things weren't saying, people resting. And what they've tried to say is, right, we're going to keep this alive as much as possible, because even if you're qualified, you've got to show respect further down the chain, and it seems to be going okay.
Well, Inter, their little stint in the top 8 hasn't lasted long. They are now out of it again, into 9th, because Chelsea have taken the lead away to Napoli. Joao Pedro with the goal. So it is Napoli 2, Chelsea 3. Chelsea are back into the top 8, 6th position, as Ait Nouri just takes the ball off the toes of Akgun on this right hand side. Galatasaray with the throw-in. So the top 8 now has Manchester City, Chelsea, Tottenham and Liverpool in it. Arsenal leading the way with that 100% record and still leading 3-1 at home to Kairat. Ball over the top, looking for Osimhen. He manages to get a little touch on it, but goes down in the process. And Galatasaray still looking to keep the pressure on. Little ball through from Akgun, who's been busy since he's come on. Jakobs now out to that far side to Al Mali. Galatasaray just trying to create the space to get across into the area. They do have bodies in there, and Osimhen is waving frantically. He is one of them, but it's gone to the back post, and it is a great touch from Ait Nouri to put it out for a corner. He might have taken a knock in the process, but there was danger lurking at that back post in the form of Salah, and Ait Nouri denied him getting a touch on it, as Galatasaray are going to bring on their captain, their talisman, Mauro Icardi, the 32-year-old Argentinian. He will replace Sarra. So 2 up top now for Galatasaray for these closing 5 minutes or so. See if they can give themselves any sort of way back into this game. They are still in the playoff places in 20th, so they will not be seeded for the playoff draw, which takes place on Friday at 11 o'clock. If they can get something from this, that could change, but the corner comes in, it's flicked to the back post. Torreira is there waiting, drops it back, and now it's come over onto this right hand side, but it's cut out. It will follow to Galatasaray feet, and now it is over with Salah, who looks for Osimhen, gets the head on it, tries to flick it in to the path of Ayahan, but through it goes to Donnarumma, who gratefully picks it up. So 4 minutes of the 90 remaining. Manchester City 2, Galatasaray 0. Manchester City very much getting the job done this evening. They are 7th in the table. Top 8 go directly through to the last 16. The teams in 9th to 24th will go into that playoff draw on Friday, but it is so tight in this table, and things are changing all the time. Manchester City, though, can't really do much more than they are doing. They just need to hope, Michael, that other results stay the way they are. There's a crossfield ball, finds Bernardo Silva on that right hand side. He had the run of Reinders but chose to go back, and now he gets it again. It's O'Reilly and Silva just knocking the ball between them on that far side.
Yeah,
you wanted it played in, didn't you?
Yeah, they've just shifted Bernardo Silva. He knows that role well, just on the right hand side. Just try and nullify the attack, just keep the ball in the wider positions when needed. Nico Gonzalez, and the two Nico's just in the middle. Foden on the run.
Foden trying to cut through this back line, and Sanchez, did he get a touch on Foden there? Right on the edge of the penalty area. The referee's not interested. Ait Nouri's able to pick up the loose ball, and now Bernardo Silva's pass hits the referee and play will stop, and Manchester City will get the drop ball. But Foden looked like he might have taken a little knock as he tried to run past Davinson Sanchez with the ball.
Yeah, it was going so quick, right on the edge of the area. I felt like there might have been a touch. Why would he go down? Some great play there.
Lovely little triangles from Manchester City, and now it's through for Ait Nouri. He tries to cut it back, and there it was blocked, and now Galatasaray are able to get away from it. Oh, he could have taken the shot on there, Ait Nouri. Unselfish from him perhaps. Lamina, though, very grateful that he was able to pick up the loose ball.
It was so good, wasn't it? The interplay. Phil Foden, Nico Gonzalez, and then Ait Nouri joining the party. Tried to reverse it, unselfish yet again. I think just take it to the line, see what happens. He's waiting for Haaland. Doesn't come, but City are close now. Got to not let anything happen, not change the end of this game.
No, but their time in the top 8 could change without anything changing here. If Real Madrid score, or there is a goal in the game between PSG and Newcastle, then Manchester City would drop out of the top 8. So they are doing all that they can here. But that defeat to Bodø Glimt last week.
You just keep getting given bad news from our right hand side, don't you? Can you just say, can you leave those problems, please? Can you not tempt fate? But that's what he seems to be doing. He's setting the tone, isn't he?
Just keeping the jeopardy high.
Yeah, he's doing that.
And the jeopardy has been high right across this final group stage match day. It's been very exciting as Ait Nouri gets a little bit of treatment for some cramp, but Galatasaray have a throw-in on the far side inside Manchester City's half as we just approach the 90-minute mark. We'll find out how much added time there is to go, but Sanchez takes a shot from distance, quite a distance, and Donnarumma is able to get his whole body behind that one.
Pep was disgusted, actually, because nobody went close, nobody read it, and then they had ages Sanchez to step forward. He was going mad at people and details and understand the edge of the area. Look at the distance he can cover, Reinders
does brilliantly to get past Sanchez. Now he's past Lemina into the area, just a heavy touch, and it goes away from him, and Shakir is able to dive at his feet and take the loose ball. But what a run that was from Reinders. 6 minutes added time we have on the clock, incidentally, and that was very nearly a goal for Reinders. Just couldn't get the shot away.
Such a skill, he turns 10 yards into his own half and then just puts it into space and thinking, right, he's going to get caught. He doesn't. Such ability, dynamic in his running, and then the last touch. But you just seen there was a recovery, wasn't there? That just nudged him.
Yeah, and just that touch took it away from him, and Shakir outsmart, able to take it down as Galatasaray are looking.
That gun tries to win a penalty.
Yeah,
he tries to twist it up. He's looking for it. Phil Foden going tight. Absolutely nothing in it. It's a ridiculous decision to try and do it. He knows Foden's coming tight.
He should be booked for that, really.
Yeah, he should be all day long. Phil Foden just looks at him. He sort of laughs it off and tries to say it's okay, it didn't matter, but it does, doesn't it? So the officials buy that and go for it.
Yeah, clear dive from Yunus against Phil Foden. Absolutely no contact whatsoever as he goes down. And Icardi just trying to get in behind Nunez. The flick on from Osimhen, but Nunez was there in time to launch it clear. We're into the final 4.5 minutes of the 6 minutes added. Long ball from Sanchez, looking for the run of Salah. He gets there. Ait Nouri for company. Ait Nouri putting the pressure on, and Salah now just throws himself to the floor, and Ait Nouri takes the ball and says thank you very much, and now it is launched clear for Haaland, who wins the header, but nobody beyond him, so Sanchez will pick that up, and Galatasaray once more come forward, this time through Akgun. Torreira just twisting away from the pressure of Reinders, gets it back, and he drops it into the centre circle for Lemina as the Manchester City crowd try and urge their team on for these final few minutes as Galatasaray look for a way back into this tie. They're desperate for that home advantage in the second leg of the playoff, which they will only get if they are one of the seeded teams. And Osimhen with the overhead kick attempt from a floated ball into the area, and Donnarumma equal to it. Couldn't really get much power on the ball with the flag also gone up.
I mean, that would have been an ending, wouldn't it? You see a diagonal pass, he just runs into an offside position and then he recovers, gets back in and then tries the spectacular, watching it all the way, overhead kick into the ground. Comfortable as it bounces into Donnarumma's hands. He waits, just looks to go direct as he slips.
Well, the full-time whistle has gone at Anfield as Bernardo Silva just tries to put the pressure on Sanchez, but he gets it back to his goalkeeper and is finished at Liverpool. Liverpool 6, Qarabag 0. So very comprehensive victory for Liverpool as they make certain of that top 8 finish. So they are safely through to the last 16, as are Bayern Munich and Arsenal. Their game's still going on, but those two had already secured their place before this round of matches, as Shakir picks up the loose ball and plays it into the feet of Lemina. Galatasaray enjoying the better of these closing stages. We're into the final 2 minutes of the added on 6, but it's a little bit too little too late for them in terms of getting something from this game. Manchester City happy to let them have the ball in this middle of the pitch area where they can't cause any problems.
No, they're not going to.
Nice little ball down the right hand side, but the cross comes in for Akgun and it's wild and disappointing and doesn't bother Donnarumma and doesn't get near any of his forward players. Now 2 of them up there in Icardi alongside Osimhen, but it was a poor ball and it's out for a goal kick, and Manchester City will take their time and they will play this one out. They've done enough, or they've done what they can. They are still in the top 8. It could change. Games elsewhere still going on, so they will hope no last minute drama either in Benfica against Real Madrid or in Paris in that game between PSG and Newcastle. Ball played through, Haaland, he's got Lamina for company, does really well to stop it in his track, cut back and tries to play it in for Foden, but Galatasaray bodies were back and now Lamina is able to run clear, but good tracking back by Foden to win the ball, but illegally, and it will be a free kick for Galatasaray inside their own half. Into the final 30 seconds.
It's gone now really
of
flat.
The added 6, it's gone so flat. Stadium is emptied.
Just seeing it out now, the game to end. But we're waiting for other scores just to come in. It's been a fascinating night, hasn't it? A really professional performance from Manchester City. They've done their job.
It's getting a little bit more nail-biting for you, Michael, because Manchester City have now dropped to 8th in the table because Sporting have gone 3-2 up in their match as the full-time whistle goes here at the Etihad. And it is a victory for Manchester City, and they have done exactly what they came here to do what they could to ensure that they were in the top 8. It is now a waiting game for them. The players out on the field shaking hands. They won't know if they are guaranteed through to that last 16 until the rest of these games are finished. They currently hold the final place in that top 8. If Real Madrid score in the final moments in their match at Benfica, Manchester City will drop to 9th. It's not over yet, Michael.
Oh, it's so tight, isn't it? It seems to be hanging on and waiting. And it's that tournament, isn't it? That Real Madrid tend to surprise and have late drama, have real quality on the pitch. We wanted Manchester City to take their opportunity and make sure they had a convincing win and get the job done. They've done their part, but at times in these wonderful competitions, things can be cruel. We know it is the wait, and now, as you can understand, all down on that technical area, they're waiting for that confirmation.
They are indeed, but in terms of Manchester City, they came here this evening, they knew they needed a victory. They got that with 2 first-half goals, both provided from the build-up play from Jeremy Doku. Haaland with a beautiful finish, dinking it over Shaqiri when he was clean through on goal, and then Cherki, great feet to create the opening and knock it into the bottom corner to make it 2-0 for Manchester City. It felt like it was game over then, and it proved to be the case. Galatasaray, they didn't offer much in the final third. They didn't create too much. A couple of opportunities, half chances really, from their talisman Osimhen up front, but nothing that was ever going to really trouble Donnarumma. And in terms of Pep Guardiola and of Manchester City, Michael, do you think that they will be pleased with the performance that they put out tonight? They'll obviously be pleased.
Come on,
they won.
put me out of my misery. Come on, we've got
playing.
to wait. You keep asking about what's going on. Is it 4 added minutes?
4 added minutes in Benfica.
And we're in the third of those 4. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's tight,
There's
isn't
still a few
it?
minutes to go.
The drama, the Champions League. Look at this. It's quiet, isn't it? The stadium, even the players, they'll probably be saying, "What's happening? What's the answer? Have we done enough?" It is a big difference in it with all the games, and you know Pep will not want it one bit.
They will not want any more football into their diaries than they need. And they did get the job done here tonight. They got the result that they wanted. It is now a waiting game to find out if it is enough. With that 2-0 victory, they currently sit in 8th place, but it could all change depending on what happens in Benfica. So for the latter stages of the drama this evening, let's hand you back to Alistair Bruce Ball.